people on DACA will be eligible for ACA, for American, or whatever that is called.
Yes, yes, I
Healthcare.
saw that. Medicare,
Medicare or Obamacare.
Affordable Care Act.
Yeah, thank you. I couldn't remember.
You're welcome. Yes, that is very good news, and that's we. It's strange. We thought, or I'm kind of including everybody in this, but it seemed, and the pundits seemed to think that when Biden got in, that things were going to dramatically improve over the Trump years for immigrants, and that's been kind of a mixed bag. But he's
Yeah,
definitely
yeah,
doing some things,
yeah.
and I would say overall it's been more good than bad. But there are moments.
Yeah. Well, I think, I mean, part of that is, of course, that Trump kind of destroyed existing structures.
Hmm.
So those had to be rebuilt, and
Yeah.
employees needed to be rehired, and that really slowed things down, I think.
Hmm.
And then the Venezuela thing happened, and tons of people from Venezuela came, and that had been kind of an unexpected thing,
Yeah.
and then that became a very political football for Biden.
And some things have been blocked, and
Yeah,
it's. I would say overall, he's. It's certainly an improvement over the Trump years,
yeah,
and an improvement over any future possible Trump years. I even hate to say it that way, but you know, happened once. It could happen again,
yes, it could. Yeah,
sadly. But
mhm.
yeah, it's been interesting. But that was an unqualified good thing, I would say.
And I don't know where that came from. It just kind of came out of left field. All of a sudden, I read it somewhere. I don't know. Ricardo read it somewhere. I can't remember who read it first, but
Hmm.
um, at the same time, DACA could still be destroyed by the Supreme Court. I did watch a little, what do you call it, like a webinar
Hmm.
this afternoon, just kind of looking at Biden and how the first 100 days of this year have gone, um, with the Republicans saying the border's a crisis. They want to impeach Mayorkas. They do a lot of political grandstanding. Um, but at the same time, the reality is we have all these labor shortages that, of course, could be um, at least solved in part, if not in whole, with immigrants.
Hmm. That's
Um,
true.
so, and yeah, and Congress has done nothing about, even though the American public, by and large, support DACA, folks being made permanent.
Hmm.
Congress isn't touching it. They're not touching the Afghan Adjustment Act. Um, so Ricardo sent that interesting article about, instead of was it instead of having programs, have strategy. No, that wasn't the exact wording. What was it? Um,
I glanced at them, but I was rushing around and I didn't get to read it.
yeah, I read it. Oh, no, I don't know if I can find it again.
But while you're looking, I will make a point that I have made on this show many times, but I think bears making again for any viewers who might be relatively new to it, and that is that we mention Republicans and Democrats fairly regularly throughout our commentary on these kinds of issues. And over time, we developed this sort of tendency to just use it as shorthand as pro and anti immigrant. Um, and that's not always entirely fair, and it certainly hasn't always been entirely fair, but it is these days, and certainly since, well, definitely since the Trump era, and it hasn't really changed that much after his time, that Republicans have been, by and large, reflexively anti-immigrant, and Democrats have been, by and large, reflexively pro-immigrant. And so, while this is not always true, it is true often enough that we do tend to fall into that kind of,
Dichotomy.
yeah, we tend to frame it that way and make it sound like it's an either or thing. And I really dislike doing it because I don't want to take sides on issues that have nothing to do with immigrants. I think
Mm-hmm.
our focus should be on the welfare of immigrants. Um, but sadly, we're more forced into doing that than we are doing that for any other reason. I mean, it's just the state of affairs right now. If and when it changes, then I think our rhetoric will change. But right now, you're going to hear, when you hear Republicans, you're going to hear it as those people who are against immigrants. Um, and that's just the way it turns out. So I don't know if anybody who happens to tune into the show and takes umbrage at that kind of framing, they're just going to have to look in the news a bit and just see who's for and who's against and what people are doing and realize that's why we're doing it. You know, it's a reaction rather than an intentional framing on our part. Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah. I found the article. Oh no, that's not it. I thought I found the article. I did not.
Ah,
Um,
I didn't waste enough time then.
but it was something about instead of um, developing programs or instead of just going on strategy because but I don't think that was the correct verbiage. But
Well, I think the notion, at least as I read in the comment, is that programs come and go. They can be turned on and turned off by whoever's in power, and they only last as long as somebody is standing behind them. Whereas strategies are maybe, I'm not sure how that ends up being any better because whoever's in power is the one that's shaping policy, right?
right, and I may be using the wrong word, but yeah, that seems like to me that can also be undone. Um,
Maybe it's more difficult to undo. Um, because a program you can just shut off and say, okay, you're out of funding and you're
right,
done. Strategies are more baked into policy, and policies are harder. You can't just, I mean, I guess, well, you can change policy, but what, maybe we're using the wrong word here. Um,
yeah, and unfortunately, I can't find the article. I thought I had it here, but either I can't find it in my email and I can't find it on my phone. Um,
see if I can,
and I remember responding, "Hey, maybe if I go in my sent box, I'll find it." How about that?
I'll look in my email. That's definitely why people tune in to watch us read our email. Um, let's see, migrants crossing. I don't even see it now. I wonder if I.
I don't either.
That's weird.
I know. That's why I looked at my cell phone as well, but I'm
Okay.
not seeing it there either.
Oh no, this is something else. This is from you about enforcement alone will not work.
I found that
Oh,
one.
here we
Yep.
go.
Maybe it was a
From an
response to that.
article which concentrates on commitment to reform instead of a plan. It's The Hill.
Yep. That's what I've got up here is the Hill, but I've got the wrong article.
How immigration reform will impact the 2024 race. Is that what you're
That
finding?
is the one I kept finding, but I didn't think it was that. Well, maybe it was. And I was
While
looking,
working
yeah, I
with
was just like,
Congress directly, the campaign should pledge innovative administrative reforms to make legal immigration faster. Is that the one?
possibly. Oh, yeah, it is the right one. I was just remembering incorrectly a different headline. Um,
Mm,
yeah, it was saying instead of making plans, strategy. Is that what I said before?
yes. Well, I can just, it's really short, unless I'm.
Yeah.
So, while working with Congress directly, the campaign should pledge innovative administrative reforms to make legal immigration faster. The presidency has wide influence over the course of legal immigration, as Trump and his over 400 immigration rule changes can attest. The campaign could implement bold ideas such as eliminating paper only filing systems from the immigration system, exempting dependents and children from the visa limitations, conducting interviews for visa applicants remotely or waiving them outright for low risk immigrants, and leaning far more on technology to rapidly screen and process cases. More processed and vetted migrants mean less pressure on both the border and the labor market. Hmm.
My memory was that, yeah, I mean, when Biden campaigned, he had all kinds of plans for immigrants
Mm-hmm.
that he promised, and then reality happened, and then politics happened, and um, they didn't get very far. Um, and they were making an, maybe I'm remembering a slightly different article, or maybe something I clicked. Anyhow, they were saying that clearly administrative changes can happen, um, because Trump made plenty of them,
Mm-hmm.
but I mean, in a positive way. But then it seems to me like they could be easily undone by the following administration as well.
I guess the key word here is easily. Um,
Yeah.
I don't. It wasn't easy. It took Trump his entire term
Hmm.
to accomplish all of that, and he was doing it nonstop the whole time.
Hmm.
And so that is a little slower, I guess. In programs, I guess when I'm thinking of programs, I'm thinking of proposals. Like, let's extend, like the way they extended DACA to the parents, the DAPA thing. That was a
Hmm.
proposed program. It got shot down, and that was the end of it.
Right.
Whereas changing the paperwork requirements and all those sorts of things, those are
Hmm.
more baked into how the job gets done. And it
Right.
requires a little more knowledge and understanding of the system for somebody to undo it. They have to come in and figure out, okay, this is how they're doing it. And if we change this, then that's going to change this, this, and this, and this, which are all
Hmm.
connected to that. And so to avoid unintended consequences, we have to be more careful in how we do these things. So I, I get that point. I think it's a good one.
Hmm. Hmm.
That those kinds of things are longer lasting and have a smaller, not so much flashy, like, hey, we can tout this at our next, event and say, hey, look what we did. We changed the paperwork requirements. That's just, it doesn't, it's not sexy, I guess, as people
Hmm.
like to say. But it has a big impact and it's important stuff. So
Yeah.
I think that's
So
pretty useful.
I'm not sure if this is the exact same article, but the, um, this concluding, I think is concluding. No, I don't know. Anyhow, he said, who did write this? Chris Richardson, opinion contributor for The Hill. He said, instead of plans, right, instead, and if I'm rereading what you just read, stop me, but
No, that's fine.
instead of presidential campaign should commit to adopting a comprehensive immigration strategy, they should promise to do what neither Biden nor Trump bothered to do, meet with members of the opposing party to find common ground in a serious manner. They could pledge to work with Republicans and Democrats and meet governors where they are to push for workable solutions. They will need to tell both parties that any reform will have parts neither will like. So that's just, I mean,
That's the old
that's negotiation.
let's be bipartisan about this, which
Yeah.
only works if everybody is trying to achieve a common goal, and if they're not, then it doesn't work. That's been the problem with our politics for a while now, is that
Yeah.
the goal of hurting the other person has become more important. Hurting the other party has
Yeah.
become more important than helping the people.
Mm-hmm.
Because apparently you get points for how badly you hurt the other side by your constituents, and they're the ones that vote, and they're the ones that send you money. So it's almost like it doesn't matter if things work. It matters what what it looks like you're trying to do.
Right.
And I think that that's kind of on all of us to fix that, because we have to vote for people that actually do things, and we have to not just vote for them, but make sure that they get in the pipeline to be running for elections so that we can vote for them. So it starts way before election day. It starts right in your home and right in your city, and everywhere.
Right. And I think on a local basis, we in Champaign-Urbana, when we look at the local attitude towards immigration, it's pretty good. Not that there are individuals who are not happy with how we do things, but governmentally, we've strived to be very welcoming.
Yeah.
And that's kind of our norm here, but it's not the norm throughout the country.
No, that's true. That's very true. That has, I won't say it plagued us. I mean, it's a good thing. We should look at it as a good thing. It makes it a little more difficult to be a community activist in this area, because really what we're trying to do is more deal with things that are outside our area, not so much, there are very small things that need doing here, maybe not small to the people who need them, but they are small in the grand scheme of things. They affect individuals, and a family here, a person there. Those are the kinds of things that we can deal with locally, but the bigger problems, many or if not most of which affect things here locally, are somewhere else. They started somewhere else, and they are promoted and boosted somewhere else, and then they trickle down to us here, so that even with the help of all the well-intentioned folks in this community, we're still fighting something that's bigger than all of us, and that definitely makes our task more difficult, because it's harder to fight. It's harder to fight something that's far away than it is something that's
and
close.
It's harder to fight I'm not sure if this is the good way to put it, but fight with states that are just not interested in being welcoming.
Yeah.
So I have a lot of family in Texas, siblings and cousins, and one remaining aunt, and the norm down there is so different. I feel like I've gone to another planet or something. And most people I know, not all the people, but most people I know around here, we're kind of like on the same page, and I'm not on the same page with about hardly anything. And it's not that the whole of Texas is that way. I know that there are places in Texas where there are more moderate positions, like in Austin. But the current power structures are very different. I mean, I hear from time to time that it's changing there, but I'm not really seeing that much evidence of it. Let's see if that's Ricardo.
So Ricardo just sent a message, and it's one word. You probably got the same one,
Uh-huh.
and I'm not sure. He's not here with us, but he's here somewhere. So that's good to know. He's exists.
Okay.
Um, Maybe he hasn't checked his email yet.
It sounds like maybe he's coming or maybe he's not. Um, oh, he said something about he never tried phone joining. Hope you guys got it. Lots of content this week, so that doesn't sound like he's coming.
That doesn't sound. I didn't see that part. Oh, here we go. Oh, I see. Yeah. I'm going to guess from that you are correct, that he's not going to make it.
Oh, there's a further one. I'll not read it on air, but okay. But yeah, I don't think he's coming.
Okay, yeah.
I think that's safe to say.
We're fine. We tend to lean on him because he's got a lot to say about a lot of things, and it's very helpful. But he's busy.
Yeah,
We're all busy.
and I think he's been. This one I will read. The invite to the Y dinner is real, but we need to confirm. V said yes. Lisa and I already told him that large things like that are not our really thing. But for anybody that's listening, the Y is having their fundraiser dinner tomorrow night. I think it's closed unless you happen to know Ricardo,
Okay.
which in case you could text him. Yeah, there's that fundraiser coming up, and in a couple of weeks, I think there's the Immigration Services fundraiser, and not long after that, there's the Refugee Center fundraiser. So, which I haven't heard much about, other than they're having it. So this is like immigration fundraiser season.
Apparently so. Yeah, maybe we should have our own. Have our own little fundraiser. Yeah, unfortunately, the Y thing will have happened by the time this airs,
That's true.
so
That's true.
it's not going to do anybody any good. But the others, so you said Immigration Services.
Immigration Services is on. Let me look at my calendar.
Yeah, if you've got it, we might as well
An
promote
exact
this stuff. 'Cause
the Immigration Services fundraiser is on the 6th. You need to apply for RSVP by the 30th. And let me go to May for I think the Refugee Center one. Not sure. Oh, wait a minute, right there. On the 4th at 5:30. I don't know where, and I don't know any details, but on the 4th of May, yeah. So Refugee Center, 4th of May, Immigration Services of Champaign-Urbana, the 6th of May.
Right. And these are, for just in case, these are in Champaign-Urbana, Illinois, USA, in case anyone is wondering where we're coming from and what this is about. And it is now Friday, April 21st when we're recording this, but it will probably not be till next week sometime when this shows up in the world. So,
and I think the Immigration Project does theirs at a different time of the year, and I can't really remember when, but yeah, three organizations. Boom, boom, boom. Of course, the Y is bigger, of course, than Immigration, the one that's going to be on Saturday. But the New American Welcome Center certainly is a big part of it.
Well, and it's a great way to help out these organizations. You get food and you get, I hesitate to call it entertainment because it's usually a lot of speeches, and depending on your perspective, speeches can be entertaining. They generally aren't. For some of us, they really, really aren't. They're kind of painful to sit through. But for others, they're beats watching TV, sitting home watching
It
TV,
does.
and you get to go out and talk to other people that are
It's more
interested in
meaningful
these
than
causes.
baby elephant videos.
Or you could watch baby elephant videos. Yeah.
No, I was saying they're more meaningful than maybe baby elephant videos,
Where do you
which
find
I
baby
caught myself
elephant videos?
looking at.
I I've seen a few every now and then, but not they're not all in one place, are they?
Well, this was a particular one. You know what? All those news sites they shoot something juicy at you that
Mm-hmm.
so you'll follow it. And I was just, and I usually don't look at those because usually they're a major rabbit trail. But this
Mm-hmm.
one's like, oh, okay.
Okay.
So it was a very touching story, and but
Well, baby elephants are very cute. I have
yeah,
to
they
admit.
are. Maybe anything is pretty cute.
As a rule, human babies are often, well, this is a whole other thing. They're often
Maybe
not,
we better not go
they're
there.
not cute right out of the box, so to speak.
No,
They
but
take a
soon,
little
soon
while to
after
kind
they
of
are.
develop into cuteness, and then they become cute. I'll admit,
Yes,
and then they
yes.
become very not cute, as I understand it, for a while, and then they're cute again. So they kind of go in and
Like
out
the
of being
twos and the
cute.
threes and the teens.
Hmm. So it's an interesting progress. Never having had children myself, I can only speak from a distance, but I hear stories. I
Yeah,
hear a lot of stories.
yeah,
And some immigrants are children, so I guess this is fair game for us to talk about to a certain
yeah.
extent. What else is going on right now? You've been. I was sending out things for a while, and then we just couldn't quite hook up,
Mhm.
and I don't know how pertinent any of that stuff is anymore.
Let me look at my sent mail again then, because I send things and then forget what I've sent.
I do too. That's the problem.
Um,
I'm really excited about it for about 2 minutes, and then I send it out, and my job is done, in my opinion.
okay, I sent out one on ICE detention deaths.
Mm,
Um,
mm,
let me pull that up. Which you don't hear a lot about in the news, but okay, this is from American Immigration Council.
mm-hmm.
But on April 6th, a 61-year-old died in custody. It says that deaths in ICE detention hit a 15-year high in fiscal year 2020. Well, that would have been in the middle of COVID. So,
Mm-hmm.
and it says that ICE has repeatedly released critically ill individuals from detention before they died. Not a very good policy.
No.
Stewart Detention Center is one of the deadliest immigration detention centers. Where is that? Doesn't say, but I've heard of that one before. And many advocates believe the death toll is higher than ICE is reporting because of those release of critically ill.
Yeah. Well, prison or detention, which is not really that different,